Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Leonardo G with another Warframe video. Now, in this Warframe video, I will tackle one of the questions that most pervasive players, but I think new players or medium players, top players will probably know this a long time. But one of the things that we have on the Hex or in Albania is the calendar, and the calendar asks to do tasks where, some of them can be complicated for people who don't know. One of them is, kill 500 enemies, then kill X amount of enemies with melee, or kill X amount of enemies with abilities. And I've seen people, struggling with this, thinking it's complicated, very complicated, to finish these tasks on a regular time, because it takes a while, especially if you go to Scaldra or Tech Rot, depending on those, you can have a trouble time getting all this finished. But I'm here to share a secret that I didn't want to share. Because I'm afraid if I share this, they will absolutely nerf the hell out of this. But because I've seen many people struggling in the community, I decided to share with you guys, and hopefully this will stay in the game. But just on a side note, I do have a second build that also works. It doesn't work as good as this one because it's using Baruch and his fourth, and the problem with this Baruch and his fourth is that he just blows enemies away from him, and that could be a little bit problematic. Not in the tech rock because the tunnels are really, packed, really tight. That it can work, but against the Scaldra, they just fly all over the place. But I'll save that for another video in case this one gets nerfed. And you didn't click on this video because you want to hear about the second best build. You want to hear about the first best build. So here it goes. This involves the Warframe Ash, who recently had a rework. Now I've used this build before and after the rework, and it still works. Actually, I could even say it works even better now because before the clones had to do multiple attacks, and now they have to do just one attack, and you basically clear the entire screen with one hit. I mean, it's really boring to do this because you'll be just pressing one key all the time, but let's get into it. So, how does this work? As you know, Ash has his Bladestorm. His Bladestorm is, you look around at the enemies, it can full focus on everyone, and then you unleash your clones. Now, the thing is, this can be upgraded because the clones are doing finishers. This can be upgraded in a couple of ways. One of them is if you turn invisible and the enemies don't see you, it does more damage. Not because being invisible just does more damage, but because when the enemies don't perceive you, and this was with Loki also, and when you do finisher behind the back of enemies who are not aware of you, you just do more damage. So being invisible is good for them. But another thing is you can use with Subsu silence on him. Now I've changed the first ability, which is shurikens, which I wasn't using, and I've subsumed silence. And silence as an augment called Savage Silence that increases the finishers according to your strength. But with this method and with this build, you can do almost 800% more damage with each finisher, which basically just kills everything with one shot. Furthermore, so this just keeps compiling, silence affects every enemy. I mean, it affects X-Men units, it affects enemies with overguard, it affects enemies on different levels, just not on line of sight, but all around you, and it leaves them open to finishers. Mind-blowing. Then, his Bladestorm, which is his force, also has an augment that increases the combo multiplier. Now, you can because of the change they had, Exilus Obsido Exile weapons now, this counts as a pseudo exile weapon and already counts as a multiplier when you attack, but this will make the counter go up even faster. So you now have more damage and more combo multiplier. On top of that, you now have Arcane Crepuscular, which delivers 30% more ability strength when the enemy can't see you, and 3 times more final multiplier. So you see where this is going, right? It's just damage upon damage and stacking on top of the other. Now, the other arcane, you could put, Arcane Molt Augment which, by each kill it does more damage if you want to go overkill. But because I use it on Steel Path, and I just use it on Steel Path because the spawning of enemies is faster, and it spawns faster and more enemies. So I use Arcane Ultimatum because it gives me a little armor in case I get attacked. So yeah, this build is pretty good. I can confidently say that you can kill upwards of 300 enemies in under 10 minutes on a survival mission. The only thing I have to be aware of is the clones do not do slash damage, because one of the passes that Ash has is if it does slash damage, the slash damage more does damage and it counts longer. Now this only works with his melee weapon. His clones do not have a physical damage. I think I tried to put slash on it and it doesn't work. You can put elemental mods, but physical mods don't seem to do jack with the clones. But that being said, you can just modify your shadow clones. In this build, I modified them for corrosive because I went against the Scaldra, and the Scaldra are more susceptible to corrosive attack. If you go into Tech Rod, you can do gas and magnetic, and so on and so on. So this build basically works with everything. It works if you have to do kills, it works if you have to do finishers, it works if you have to do melee kills, it works if you have to do ability kills, it works on a tech box, it works on a Scaldra. I mean, just works all over the place. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm sharing this so if you're having trouble doing the missions, doing the calendar, I hope this helps you. I think it helps me a lot. And let's try to keep this secret just among ourselves, so they doesn't nerf the hell out of this. And if it helps you, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a good game, guys.